going to start picking up soon.
It's the beginning of June. If you follow the meteorological calendar, then it's the start of summer. For the astronomical version, there's still a few weeks to go. It can get a little confusing, as can the travel traffic light system.
Is it red or amber?
Red.
So you've got to go into the red list.
No, but he was coming to Singapore.
So if he's been in Indonesia 12 days ago, then he can go with Singapore green.
Currently, for these passengers, there are only 11 countries on the green list, with 165 amber and 54 having been given the red flag. Regardless of the restrictions, passenger numbers are on the increase, and with more people, there's always a little more mischief.
Duty Officer Jonathan Shard.
Morning, John. It's Kevin.
Hi, Kev, how are you?
Ready to respond to any trouble in the terminals is Inspector Jono and his number 2 in charge, Sergeant Les Dawson. These officers are part of SO18, Aviation Security Operations.
Well, that's straight, if nothing.
A specialist unit of the Met, providing policing and security to Heathrow.
We will never admit to being plane fans or plane spotters, ever. But needless to say, you know, if something unusual comes in, I'll tell you what is unusual, Les, you've seen this new ANPR camera.
As the airport is a major international transport hub, SO18 are integral to national security.
Everything all right? Good morning.
But keeping a beady eye out for serious threats while being an upbeat Bobby is a balancing act Jono is well accustomed to.
Your glasses, how they stay still on your head when you're moving around?
Years of practice. It's one of those things I hardly need them, but every now and again I do, and if they're in a pocket or whatever, they get broken, so, yeah.
The first call of their 12-hour shift takes them to Terminal 5.
No, stay here. I say no, more space, thank you.
Les has come across a distressed member of the public who may have been a little short-sighted herself.
So Nissan...
Grand.
Nissan, sorry, which one? Grand.
After waving off a passenger, she's returned to the forecourt to find her minivan is nowhere to be seen.
My daughter, she's 16 and yeah, she was not in confidence, so I had to check. Everything is okay and, you know, coronavirus as well. And we asked the long stay for space and they say, no, you have to go in short stay. I say, well, I need to stay a long time. So they say, it doesn't matter, you know, it's not my problem or blah, blah, blah. And now I'm no car.
You know where it's gone?
Sergeant Dawson doesn't need his investigator's cap on for this common caper.
Delta 32, just by the airwaves.
Just go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, just a quick one. Has anyone lifted a car today? Nissan L Grand.
Yes, I was removed 9 o'clock, untended.
OK, so it's been taken to our car pound. I know it's really difficult for you. Thing to do, go down to our police station, I'll tell you where to go, and they will work it out with you to get the car back, OK?
You know, I press the button for the long stay and they say, no more space, you have to
come
there.
up here.
She's
Okay.
only 16, you know.
Yeah, I understand.
An empty forecourt may look like an inviting place to leave one's car for an emotional adieu, but security around these areas has been tight ever since the terror attack at Glasgow Airport in 2007. And any unattended vehicle will be towed by the police and the owner treated to a £150 ticket.
OK, my dear, this is our police station. So we're just out at Terminal 5. I've told them that I've spoken to you. There probably will be a fee, but they'll work it out with you and then they will get the car back and bring it there for you or take you to the car.
Here.
No, I'm afraid not. I have to go to the police station first. Okay. Yeah, I'm really sorry. It's one of the things that happens on the forecourt. Unfortunately, we do have to control it. And just to confirm, your daughter's on the flight. That's all OK. She's safe.
I don't know, she just said to me she will go in a flight in a few minutes.
OK,
so
lovely.
I suppose yes.
OK, good luck with that. Thank you. Our main concern is that it could be a threat or a danger to the airport, so we can't leave it there. We'll investigate it and then take it away.
Whether departing or arriving, since the pandemic, the opportunity for a weepy wave-off or an emotional arrival has been somewhat stunted. But there is still one place in Heathrow where you can get a good cuddle.
I never found
England.
Razor, come on. There we go. The City of London Corporation Animal Reception Centre, just on the perimeter of Heathrow, is responsible for processing any furry friends who happen to pass through the airport.
How long in the day?
A whole 20 hours. Boy.
My mum's still in quarantine, and this little one's flight has been changed 4 times. So, you know, it's been a bit panicky for my mum. So we're glad that she's arrived safe and sound.
We've stayed in a hotel, we've changed that 4 times.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for them for 6 months, so it's been quite a wait. This is the complete family. Yes, they've finally arrived, so now we can settle in.
Helping to bring some 16,000 cats and dogs a year back into the bosom of their families is Animal Health Supervisor Shannon.
Buddy, your turn. Because of COVID, a lot of owners flew over and left their pets behind in kennels and catteries, so they've been apart for quite some time now. So, yeah, the reunions are the best.
But coordinating the coming and going of over 25 million live animals a year doesn't always go to plan.
So I've just been informed that we've got some offloaded tortoises. I don't know much more than that. I'm just going to go and find out where they're supposed to be going and what's going on with them. But them being offloaded isn't good.
What's offloaded?
Offloaded means that they haven't made their flight, so for whatever reason they weren't loaded onto the aircraft.
A couple of slow-coach tortoises have missed their flight to Seattle and been sent back to the reception centre.
Hi guys, does anyone know where the drill or a Phillips screwdriver is? There's none in the tool cupboard.
Whether they got stuck in traffic or were simply dawdling in duty-free, Shannon is now responsible for their welfare.
They've probably been in this crate now for about 4 hours, maybe just a bit longer. So they should be absolutely fine. We'll just double check. Let's have a quick sneak peek.
Dandy and Lion are a pair of Hermann's tortoises, a popular and rather charismatic pet from the Mediterranean that can live to over 70.
Yeah, seem absolutely fine.
They are known to have a particularly good sense of time, so it's not like them to miss a flight.
Hello, just ringing to let you know, the tortoises were offloaded.
Some investigating reveals a communications mix-up on the airfield is to blame. Shannon now needs to arrange for the shipping company to collect the tortoises.
If you could get someone to collect them, that'd be great. So the tortoises will be staying. All right, thank you, bye. Okay, so pets have asked if we can keep them here. They'll be staying until Friday and hopefully they make Friday's flight.
It looks like they have to be put up with a 2-night stopover before joining their owners in America. Still, at least they'll have all mod cons during their stay. Heat pad.
33.7, so that's perfect for them.
DIY cave.
Somewhere that they can hide under.
Room service.
I'll just give them a little bit of carrot.
And of course, some light reading material.
They seem absolutely fine. Yeah, they seem quite happy, gone straight for the food, so which is nice. So we'll keep an eye on them, we'll keep monitoring the vivarium temperatures, and then, yeah, fingers crossed for Friday.
It's been known that tortoises can walk over 6 miles a day.
Looking forward.
That's the same distance as an officer on shift with the aviation police.
Receipt 22, if you come normal way into T3, you'll see us parked up on the right-hand side. Just come and find me there and I'll tell you where you've got to go.
Halfway through their 15,000-step beat is Sergeant Dawson and Inspector Shard. They've been called to an incident in Terminal 3. The bustle of holiday traffic has been absent at Terminal 3 for over 14 months. Lonely check-in desks and empty corridors wait for passengers to return. But today, this 60-year-old terminal's back door has been temporarily reopened, with its arrivals hall now welcoming some rather special passengers, those arriving from red-listed countries. These passengers are over 4 times more likely to test positive than those arriving from other countries. So Heathrow has provisionally assigned Terminal 3 to process those that need to quarantine in dedicated hotels for 10 days. But not everyone agrees with the government's new rules.
Legally, if somebody has to be taken to one of the red hotels and force has to be used, that does fall to us as the police. And that's the lady there, I'm guessing.
Before Sergeant Dawson speaks to the lady in question, Passenger Experience Manager Bally gives him the lowdown.
Just arrived from Ghana via Egypt.
Oh, okay,
She hasn't got a hotel booking or anything like that.
So I come in the same way I've gone out, thinking, you know, I'm completely fine. I've got my test booked, everything done.
This passenger is returning from Ghana, an amber country, which only requires travellers to self-isolate at home. However, she came via Egypt, which recently turned red, meaning a 10-day isolation in a quarantine hotel is now required.
They've added Egypt to the red list on June 8th.
So that was 2 weeks ago.
It was not communicated to me by either the UK government or the airline. You should let your nationals know if they're abroad that it's now been added to the red list.
Well, ultimately, it'll be your responsibility to check that, and you haven't done it. So,
I don't think that is my responsibility.
These hotels don't come cheap. For this passenger, she'll have to shell out £1,750 for a 10-day quarantine stay, with the government about to raise it to over £2,000. That's equivalent to a 5-star hotel in Ibiza.
I have a UK address, a British passport. I need to be able to quarantine in my house because I don't have 1.7k.
In certain circumstances, passengers can take out a government loan and pay the money back in 12 monthly amounts.
There's a government loan system in place.
It's not going to work. I have student loans. I'm not taking a loan for a corona test that I can do for the same price at my house. I'm not taking that loan.
Okay, well, going into a 10-day isolation in a government hotel is the law, and you will be required to do that. The bottom line is that you can book the hotels now and we'll allow you to move on, or there is a fixed penalty notice, which I think starts with £1,000, and then you'll still have to go to the hotel. There'll be arrest, you'll go to a police station.
An arrest for what?
For the breaching the COVID regulations.
I didn't breach the COVID regulations. My dad's waiting outside for me. I'm going home.
No, you're not.
I'm going home.
I'm telling you now, please start getting used to the idea that you will be going to some kind of isolation.
I'm going home.
No. The lady seems to believe that ignorance of the law is a defence in some way, so I've explained to her it isn't. I don't know what information she's been given by the airline or a travel agent, but ultimately that's the way the law stands. She must isolate.
I don't have 1.7k to pay for the hotel, nor am I going to the hotel. And even if I do go to the hotel, you can't lock me in the room, so I will go home.
In Terminal 3, police are at a standoff with a passenger refusing to isolate in a quarantine hotel. She's come via Egypt, a country that's been on the red list for 2 weeks.
I think borders need to come down, explain it, issue a fine if they need to, and then we'll take it from there. Okay. While she's upstairs, she's been relatively compliant, so they've not really picked up that she was going to refuse.
When we touch base with immigration, they had her down as an amber passenger. So we're trying to explain to immigration that it's a red list terminal and every passenger has to have a hotel booking.
You know, because it's a slightly unusual situation as well with transiting, we'll give her as long as we need to keep the communication going, but ultimately she will have to go to a hotel.
Stepping into his role as travel agent, Sergeant Dawson is on the hunt for a hotel.
Have you got anywhere sort of east end side, over that way? Nothing. Okay, no worries. Well, whatever you can do, if you can get anything around here. This lady is just going to find a hotel, hopefully nearby. Some people are going as far as Birmingham, but I've asked her to find one nearby to make it a bit more practical. At the moment, fines-wise, she's in quite a good place. It's not going to.
She hasn't been fined, and she's been offered the free government loan.
Okay.
And it looks like we might have to offer her a lift as well.
Let's let Gary.
I don't want to drive her to Birmingham. We need to be nearby, otherwise that does present us with a problem.
It may not have the razzle-dazzle of the Ritz, but the passenger has been reserved a hotel room.
This isn't great, I understand that, okay? But it's a process that's in place for everybody. So G4S have booked you a hotel place. It's local to the airport here. The government will be in touch with regard to payment for that hotel in due course, okay? If you refuse to engage with this process, then Border Force will be coming down. There's a chance that they'll be issuing you with a fixed penalty notice, which I understand starts with £1,000. And as a result, you'll still have to pay for the hotels.
If it's something that I'm paying for, The hotel should be there.
Well,
Shoreditch,
it's...
Hackney, London. That's my only request at this point.
Well, it's already booked.
Where?
But just by the airport, just now. It's called the Holiday Inn.
I need one of the
Yeah, just need your shop number.
It doesn't work like that. So, are you going to engage in this process?
I will engage in the process when they book me a hotel in Tower Hamlet, Shoreditch, Hackney, the surrounding areas.
No, that's not how it works, I'm afraid.
It's back to stalemate as the passenger is now demanding a hotel near her home.
I did ask. They don't have any on that side at all.
Okay, there's nothing in. Okay, so there's nothing in this.
There's not an option.
This is the closest to your home address, and it's the shortest journey, so you can get to the hotel, get something to eat, get a shower, get chilled out.
It appears Inspector Jono's powers of persuasion may be working.
So does she understand what's going to happen? Has she paid you, or is she going to get a bill?
Loan, 0%. They're taking the 0% loan.
The lady has, to all intents and purposes, suggested she will comply, so we're going to leave her in the company of the 2 officers here who are going to escort her to the coach, and that will transport her to the hotel.
The passenger finally decided that a 10-day quarantine stay in sometimes sunny West London was preferable to an arrest and a fine. Just outside Terminal 3, there are other visitors also needing to be quarantined. Permanently. In these warmer months, bird strike is more prevalent as many young fledgling birds leave their nests and migration season begins. It's down to airside Ian to keep brazen small and medium-sized birds from infiltrating the airfield. But there are larger species that can be extremely hazardous. Protecting planes from geese is a clandestine operation set within the serenity of Princess Lakes, 1.5 miles from the southern runway.
Up there. It's fairly quiet. There's a couple of mallards along the edge, 1 or 2 coots as well.
Heathrow's biodiversity manager, Adam, lurks amongst the reeds and gathers intelligence on any gaggles of concern.
We monitor the large and flocking species, which we don't really want around the airport because we don't want colliding with planes. Any sort of reports of regular sightings we get, we feed back through to the bird hazard management team.
The lakes are owned by Heathrow and used for water management. Excess surface water collected from the airfield is treated, cleaned, and released back into these lakes or the local river. But huge bodies of water are a paradise for migrating Canada geese.
2 Canada geese have just landed on this Cable 2 lake.
Is that your worst nightmare when they pop up?
It depends how many there are.
Weighing up to 6.5 kilos, the Canada goose is the largest found on Britain's shores. And with population numbers increasing yearly, they present an extremely serious threat to human life when they flock near airfields.
The engines are actually quite frail when something of that size hits them. It breaks the blades and they go into the engine and blow the engine up. Do you remember the plane that crashed into the Hudson River in New York? That was a result of it hitting Canada geese just after takeoff.
But with no gaggle in tow, it looks like a quiet afternoon for Adam.
One of the reasons why I love this job, you just get out, peace and quiet. You can forget where you are sometimes.
Meanwhile, back on the airfield, there's been reports of a large group of starlings loitering around the tip of the northern runway. Though only the southern runway is live, the northern needs to be ready at a moment's notice should any aircraft require an emergency landing.
It's just those sheer numbers.
And these starlings would be right in the flight path.
This is the end of the runway, so this is the threshold. So this is the approach for the aircraft coming down there. But at this point here, if you've got a flock of birds, they lift the amount of starlings you're going to get lifted together as an aircraft's coming down, so you've got this effect.
And that would be a cluster flock, a survival technique where small birds band together for safety from a predator. So Ian's hoping the rapid-fire capabilities of his new gun will help him manoeuvre the flock away from the danger zone and off the airfield in one sitting.
We've got the catcher, so we're not going to get the FOD issue. Let's see how it works with the birds.
The risk is no exaggeration. In 1961, the most fatal bird strike in American history was caused by a flock of 50-gram starlings peppering the passenger plane. Of the 72 on board, only 10 survived.
So they have just moved off a bit further, so a bit out of the range for it. So if I put a long range up,
Ian sent the starlings packing. And the northern runway is now secure thanks to his new semi-auto.
as the flock lifts in different ways, the flock can split. You've then got to try and consider where they're going to go and how they're going to have an effect on the airfield. So I was quite happy with the way that that controlled or sort of helped push those birds in that direction. OK, Phoenix checker, just advise there's a flock of about 60 starlings around grass area, foxtrot, and I've just dispersed them. They went sort of northwest.
Roger, thank you very much for that. I'll operate.
Ian's won the battle.
Roger.
But the war is far from over.